Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing an Evil Twin Spright deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because Evil Twin Spright is such a fun deck to play for all the amazing combos you can pull off with this deck. It's amazing how well these two archetypes work together, so without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell near to become part of Notification Squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description in every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Kiss-a-Kill. Kiss-a-Kill is a definite 3 on the deck and one of the best normal summons in the entire deck. This card has an awesome effect that if this card is normal or special summon and you control no other monsters, you can special summon a Lila monster from your hand or deck, which is going to get you 2 level 2s on your side of the field so you can start all of your plays. We then play 3 copies of Lila. Lila is also a definite 3 of in the deck and shares a similar effect to your copy of your Kiss-a-Kill, that if you control no other monsters when this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon out a copy of Kiss-a-Kill from your hand or deck, which is a super good effect. We then play a single copy of Kiss-a-Kill Frost. Kiss-a-Kill Frost is a really good 1-of in this particular deck, just in case your copy of your Lila gets hand trapped, because if you control a copy of a Lila monster, then you can special summon this card from your hand, which is a super good effect. And if a card is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand by a card effect, except during the damage step, while you control an Evil Twin monster, you can manage this card from the graveyard to draw a card, which is an awesome extender for this deck. We then play a single copy of Lila Treat. Lila Treat is a definite 1-of in this deck and just a really good extender that if you control a Kiss-a-Kill monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is a great effect just in case your copy of your Kiss-a-Kill gets hit with, say, a copy of Impermanence, a copy of Ash, or even a copy of Effect Veiler. You still have plays in this deck, which is super good. We then play 3 copies of Spright Blue. Spright Blue is an insane card in this deck and a definite 3-of in this build that if you control a level or rank 2 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, which all of your live twins are level 2s, which is easy to do in this deck to be able to just go full Spright combo. This card has the ability, if you special summon this card, then you can add a Spright monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card, which is a really good effect. We then play 3 copies of Spright Jet, which is a card you're usually searching off your copy of your Spright Blue. This card also shares the exact same effect, just like all of your other Spright monsters in this build, that if you control a level or rank 2 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, but you can only special summon each Spright monster by their own effect once per turn. But if this card is special summon, you can add a Spright Spell or Trap card from your deck to your hand, which is great to search out cards like your Spright Smasher directly from your deck to your hand. We then play 2 copies of Spright Red. This card is a really good 2 in the deck that's actually a monster negate. We then play a single copy of Spright Carrot. Spright Carrot is a great 1-of that's a spell and trap negate, which is just a really awesome effect to be able to out cards like Evenly Matched. We then play a single copy of Spright Pixies. Spright Pixies is really good in this deck and is basically like an Honest for this deck, which is a super good effect, but it can also special summon itself just like all of your other Spright cards, so you can either use this card during the battle phase or you can use this card as an extender, which is great in this build. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is just a great hand trap just to stop your opponent from touching the deck. We then play 3 copies of Nibiru. Nibiru is a really good hand trap, and you have a bunch of ways in this build to actually out Nibiru, so this card is a definite 3-of in the build just to break your opponent's board. We then play 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit is really good in the Kashtira matchup because you actually pop their XZ monster, which is really good for this build. This card is really good because it pops a card on the field, and it's just such a powerful card in the deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Spright Smashers. Spright Smashers is a definite 1-of in this particular build because it just helps you out problem cards that your opponent might have on the field by just a super easy banish effect. I absolutely love this card in a 1-of in the deck. You don't really need any more than a single copy of this card because it is searchable off your copy of Jet, but it's a really good 1-of in this build. We're then playing a single copy of Live Twin Home. Live Twin Home is great in the deck because you can discard 1 card to be able to special summon out a Kiss-a-Kill or a Lila monster from your deck. But for the rest turn, after this effect resolves, you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck except live twin monsters, which is a pretty good effect, but you kind of have to watch out for this card. I really like this card in this deck as a one-of because you can use it when you need it, and it is searchable in this particular build off of your copies of your secret password. So this card is a definite one-of in the deck. We then play 2 copies of Secret Password. Secret Password is really good as a 2-of in this particular build because it gets you to the exact card you need when you need it. It lets you add a live twin or evil twin spell or trap from your deck to your hand, and you control a Kiss-a-Kill Lila monster or a copy of a Lila monster. You can add an evil twin monster from your deck to your hand instead, which you're never really using that effect all that much. I usually just use the effect to be able to search out the copy of the live twin home or the copy of the Sunny Snitch. I still really like this card as a 2-of in the build, but I feel like 3 bricks the deck too much, so I feel like 2 is totally fine. We then play 2 copies of Sunny Snitch. Sunny Snitch is a good 2-of in this particular build. I have considered bumping this card up to 3, but for right now, I feel like 2 is totally fine. When this card is activated, you get to add a live twin monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to be able to do, but you already play so many normal summons in this deck, I did end up bumping this card down to 2 in playtesting. And while you control an evil twin monster, each time your opponent normally or special summons a monster, you gain 200 life points and your opponent loses 200 life points, which is a really good effect for this card to have because it's basically a Trickstar card, which is really cool. We then play 2 copies of Triple Tactical Talents. Triple Tactical Talents is just really good in this particular build to be able to deal with your opponent if they hand trap you. This card is just absolutely insane in this format. We then play 3 copies of Spright Starter. Spright Starter is really good in this deck because it's basically an E-Telly for all of your Spright monsters. It lets you special summon a Spright monster from your deck, but you lose life points equal to the original attack of that monster, and for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except for level, rank, or link 2 monsters, which is not that big of a deal because that's pretty much all we're summoning anyways. So that's it for these spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3 traps, and that's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Impermanence is just a great hand trap to go along with all of our other hand traps in the deck, and that's one thing I really love about this deck, is there's so much room for hand traps in this particular build that you can play for any matchup, which is just really good. Being able to play 3 copies of Ash, 3 copies of Nibiru, 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, and the 2 copies of your Ghost Ogre is just a really well-rounded amount of hand traps for this deck to be able to go up against pretty much any matchup you want to, and being able to play the Infinite Impermanence is really good in this deck to be able to just basically set this card to your side of the field if you go first, and then basically negate opponent's monster effect and lock down an entire column for spells and traps. So this card is a definite 3-of in this build. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Gigantic Spright. Gigantic Spright is a definite 2-of in the deck and lets you special summon a level 2 monster from your deck by just detaching a material, which is great in this particular deck to be able to special summon out a monster from your deck. This card does lock you into level, rank, and link 2 monsters for the rest of the turn, but that's not that big of a deal. But this card is super easy to put on your side of the field, and it's a really powerhouse card. We then play a single copy of Sky Cavalry. Sky Cavalry is just a good 1-of in the deck to be able to make Zeus. It can be destroyed by battle while it has a material, and at the end of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can detach a material from this card and bounce that card back to your opponent's hand, which is just an insane effect to be able to out cards that your opponent might have on the field. We then play a single copy of Soul Sweeper. Soul Sweeper is really good because it can banish your opponent's cards, which is a great effect. By just detaching a material from this card, you can target a monster your opponent controls and banish it until your opponent's end phase, which is just a great effect to deal with cards that your opponent might have on the field that can't be destroyed. We then play a single copy of Downer Magician. Downer Magician is really good as a 1-of in the deck to be able to give Zeus an additional material. We then play a single copy of Double A Zeus. Double A Zeus is a definite 1-of in this particular build. I have considered bumping this card up to 2, but for right now, I feel like 1 is totally fine for this particular build to be able to just board wipe your opponent's field. This card is really good in this deck and super easy to make with any of your rank 2 monsters, then making a copy of Downer to give it that extra material, which is just really insane. We then play a single copy of Evil Twin Trouble Sunny. You don't summon this card all the time in this deck because you're sometimes locked into link 2 monsters, but this card is just really good in this deck as a one-of because it has the ability to quick effect tribute this card and then special summon a Kill monster and a Lila monster from your graveyard. You can also banish this card from your graveyard to send an Evil Twin monster from your hand, deck, or face from field to the graveyard, and then send a card on the field to the graveyard, which is an insanely powerful effect. I love that about this card. This card is just really awesome in this deck. We then play 2 copies of Kill. Kill is just insane in this deck, and it's just a really good 2-of. You don't really need 3 copies of this card. I feel like 2 is totally fine. It has the ability, if this card is special summon, and you control a Lila monster, and then you can draw a card. And then during your main phase, if you don't control Lila, then you can quick effect special summon a Lila monster from your graveyard, but you get locked, and you cannot special summon monsters from the X deck for the rest of the turn, except for Fiend monsters, which is totally fine for this deck. We then play 2 copies of Evil Twin Lila. Lila is a really good 2-of as well in the deck, but again, just like Kill, I feel like 2 copies is totally fine. You never really need the 3rd one in this build. If this card is special summon and you control a Kill monster, and you can target a card on the field and destroy it, and during the main phase, just like your copy of your Kill, if you don't control Kill, then you can quick effect special summon a Kill monster from your graveyard, but you get locked into Fiend monsters for the rest of the turn, special summoning from the X deck. These are both really good in the deck because if you don't control the other one, you get to special summon it from the graveyard, which is just a really good effect to be able to tag in and out your copies of your Evil Twin monsters. We then play a single copy of Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn's really good to be able to spin stuff. 1 copy of IP Masquerena to be able to make the unicorn during the opponent's turn, which is a really good effect. 1 copy of Mudracker from the Underworld. This card is insane in the deck and helps you basically start your combos all over again. This card is almost a copy of one of your Evil Twin monsters. This card has a really good effect that if a monster you control would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can create a Fiend monster instead. And it also lets you target a Fiend monster in your graveyard, except another copy of this card, and discard 1 card if you special summon that monster, which can help you basically start over your Evil Twin combos if they do leave the field, which is just really good. We then play a single copy of Linkuriboh. Linkuriboh is just really good to deal with cards like Evenly Match, Infinite Impermanence, and it's super easy to make in this deck because your copies of your Kill is actually Cyverse, and your copies of your original Lila are Cyverse as well, so it's very easy to make this card in this deck. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a Evil Twin Spright deck, you should definitely give this deck a try because they work so well together because there's so many level 2s that you can actually bring out in this deck, and I love the normal summon of the live twins in this deck to be able to just start all your plays, and having that level 2 monster on your side of the field, even if they get hit, you still have ways to go into plays with your Spright cards. So that's it for the deck, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell near so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.